Well, hi, and welcome to another LRCC Soundbite. Now, if you've been following the last few of these, you'll know I'm telling stories written down by a guy called Luke about Jesus. This week, I'm going to tell you about a man Jesus met who was outcast from society. Now, the Israelites, they had laws governing lots of things in their society. One of the things it covered was people who had any sort of skin condition. Some older versions of the Bible call it a dreaded skin disease. Not a nice term, but it does help explain one thing for us. That word dreaded. It's very true for the people, because if they had any sort of skin condition that made them look different, then they were outcast from society. You might be familiar with the term leper colonies, groups of people with leprosy or similar conditions that, and it takes them out of society. They're not welcome anymore. It was a way of protecting the general population from something that might be infectious. I guess we might recognise it today as a kind of self-isolation. In reality, it meant people could no longer live with their friends and their family. They could no longer work. They couldn't go to the synagogue or the temple. They had to keep away from everyone else and rely on the charity of others just to stay alive. That's why it was dreaded. It wasn't something that people wanted. So Jesus is met by a man who has leprosy, or at least something similar. When the man sees Jesus, he kneels down in front of him and begged him. "Lord," he said, "you have the power to make me well, if only you wanted to." Jesus did something completely unexpected. He put out his hand and put it on the man. That's a big no-no. It's completely against the law, really, because it puts Jesus in a position where he is now also unclean in the eyes of the law. Possibly should go and isolate. Instead, Jesus says these words. He says, "I do want to. Now you are well." Immediately, the man's skin was cleared, but to comply with the law, Jesus told him not to tell anybody, but go and see the priest, because the law said that was the only way that someone could be declared legally clean, healed, and rejoin society again. So that's what the man did. Of course, people did get to hear about this, and so even more people came to see Jesus, to hear what he had to say, and to get healed from whatever ailments they had. You know, as I was writing this, I was reflecting on what has changed today. Maybe we don't kick people out of society in quite the same way, but if someone looks different in some way, are they as welcome as people who don't? How does it affect them? How does it affect the way people look at them, comment about them, keep their kids away from them? You know, we like to think we've moved on, but sometimes I do have to wonder whether we really have. So maybe it's worth thinking about this week. How are we around people who are different from us in some way? It might not be physical. It might be some other way. And just think, how can I change my thinking to be more inclusive and more welcoming like Jesus was? Remember his words. I do want to. God bless you. I'll see you next time.